좋다. I say. Anyway, and I think just anyway, anyway, vamos.
The Creatornator is the coolest, trendiest piece of headgear this side of Fab Hat Street, Hiptown, Groovishire. You'll find it in the Power-Up section of the Gameplay Kits page. Tweak the Creatornator to choose what you want it to fire. Just think of it as an emitter strapped to your bonds. You could emit Elderflower the cow, for example. The Creatornator is the coolest, trendiest piece of headgear this side of Fab Hat Street, Hiptown, Groovishire. You'll find it in the Power-Up section of the Gameplay Kits page. tweak the Creatinator to choose what you want it to fire. Just think of it as an emitter strapped to your bonds. You could emit Elderflower the cow, for example. Of course, there are some ready-made water, fire and plasma drops for you in the projectiles section. If you're using these projectiles, the Creatinator is the coolest, trendiest piece of headgear this side of Fab Hat Street, Hiptown, Groovishire. You'll find it in the power-up section of the gameplay kits page. Tweak the Creatinator to choose what you want it to fire. Just think of it as an emitter strapped to your bonds. You could emit Elderflower the cow, for example. Of course, there are some ready-made water, fire and plasma drops for you in the projectiles section. If you're using these projectiles, then you might be interested in the projectile sensor that lives in the gadgets page. It works like a counter. Every time its object is hit by a projectile, the count increases. You can tweak its target count, current count, and choose if you want to include rigid connections. Connect the projectile sensor to that light just there. Once it's been hit the right number of times, the projectile sensor's output will activate. Well, I'd say that's better than a hat that actually holds your drink any day. But you know what? The Creatinator can fire anything you can dream of, and probably more. You can tweak how much ammo your Creatinator carries and how accurately it will fire said ammo. Carry on like this and you'll be rewriting all the statistics on ballistics, files on projectiles, and directories on trajectories. Why so sad? Are all your chumblies busy creating magical levels with their Imagineering skills at the moment? Couldn't you make yourself some friends? Why not? This is LittleBigPlanet. Make a Sackbot friend. Or if you're feeling all confrontational, a Sackbot enemy. They live in the Sackbot section of your tools bag, to be precise. This Sackbot is the cleverest thing since man crawled out of the primordial soup and invented the supermarket loyalty card. Treat him like your personal doll. Let's give him a costume. You can choose from all the outfits and clothing in your own costumes page. Select an animation style to match. It's no good having a zombie in a medieval castle, or perhaps it is. This Sackbot is in idle mode at the moment. What a layabout. Let's G him up a bit. Tweak him and try setting his behaviour to follow for now. Oh, bless, he'll really try his hardest to keep up with you. And why not increase his awareness radius while you're at it? Make him more aware of what's around him. He's very capable, isn't he? perhaps a bit too Frankenstein's monster capable. Limit him by changing his movement settings. You can make him afraid of heights or afraid of danger. You can tweak him so he can change layer or so he can jump. Sackbots will even use power-ups if you let them. Tweak the Creatinator, Grabinator and Controlinator options to decide. To control your Sackbot's gaze, set the Look at Tag colour to match a tag within his awareness radius. That's sure to turn some heads. Turn some heads. Dear me. To make your Sackbots even more lifelike and potentially capable of running amok and destroying LittleBigPlanet forever, make sure you choose an appropriate behaviour for them. If you want to make a scaredy bot, set his behaviour to flee. Look at that! You've terrified the poor little thing just by standing there. Or tweak him to choose the act behaviour. By recording your own actions, you can channel your every move directly into his brain. You could record him doing a classic dance, say the funky park bench, or even some of that never-popular robotic dancing. There are 3 playback modes to choose from. Play once means he's a one-shot pony, while loop relative means he will keep on acting up wherever he's standing. Tell him to loop absolute, and he'll attempt to make his way back to his starting point whenever his acting ends. Hello, Mr. Sackbot. Give us a robotic microwave. Well, microwave back. It's only polite. Use the patrol behaviour to set up a kind of wooden guard dog. While you're at it, make sure he doesn't totter off that ledge. If you decide he's right-handed, he'll patrol so that obstacles are always on his right, but if he's a lefty, he'll keep them on his left. By the way, each Sackbot has its own inbuilt microchip. Choose Show Circuit Board or press R1 when you want to use it. From the Sackbot section of your Poppet, you can place additional behaviours straight onto the microchip. These behaviours can be activated with any kind of logic, benign or fiendish, that you can devise. The Sackbot will behave according to the most recently activated behaviour on his microchip. If you tweak him to be hostile, then be prepared to have your creation turn on you and destroy everything you hold dear. It's only a bit of fun. If his behaviour is set to follow, then a hostile Sackbot will be no respecter of your personal space. He'll just barge right in. And if he's a patroller, he'll charge you down as soon as you step into his awareness radius. Scary stuff. If he has a creatinator on him, he'll turn it on you. If you want your sackbot to be one of those lovey actor types, then you might consider giving him a magic mouth or 7. Either set the actor name of your sackbot to match the actor name of a magic mouth, or just plonk a magic mouth directly onto the sackbot's microchip. Your sackbot will lip-sync along to the magic mouth like a happy ventriloquist dummy. Or should I say, like a happy ventriloquist dummy. There are plenty of options, but you'll become an expert Imagineer of sackbotics in no time at all. Sitting still is so last century. The basic mover objects are all the rage these days. You'll find them in your Poppet's Gadgets page. A mover will set Elderflower the cow going faster than you can read the headline, "Bovine roller skates madness ends in disaster." So stick one onto her rump. Change the left, right and up-down speed to set quite how moving the mover is. Local space means that as the object tumbles and turns, the direction the mover tries to go turns with it. Changing a mover's acceleration and deceleration affects how much effort it will put into reaching its desired speed. Which, let me tell you, might have some odd side effects. But don't panic, it's all part of the... Sitting still is so last century. The basic mover objects are all the rage these days. You'll find them in your Poppet's Gadgets page. A mover will set Elderflower the cow going faster than you can read the headline, "Bovine roller skates madness ends in disaster." So stick one onto her rump. Change the left, right and up-down speed to set quite how moving the mover is. Local space means that as the object tumbles and turns, the direction the mover tries to go turns with it. Changing a mover's acceleration and deceleration affects how much effort it will put into reaching its desired speed. Which, let me tell you, might have some odd side effects. But don't panic. It's all part of the ethereal charm of LittleBigPlanet. Press back when you're all done tweaking. Ready? Fly, Elderflower, be free. Ah, like fine art in motion. A Cudstable, or a Moonay, perhaps. Sitting still is so last century. The basic mover objects are all the rage these days. You'll find them in your Poppet's Gadgets page. A mover will set Elderflower the cow going faster than you can read the headline, "Bovine roller skates madness ends in disaster." So stick one onto her rump. Sitting still is so last century. The basic mover objects are all the rage these days. You'll find them in your Poppet's Gadgets page. Groovy old Grandfather Time has been practicing his sassy dance moves, but his mature mechanisms need some basic rotators to grease the wheels. So, open your pocket and find your way to the rotator section of the tools bag. First off, let's use a rotator to put some boogie in his bonce. Plonk it anywhere you like. It will turn an object at the speed you tweak it to. Ah, there goes Gramps with his head spin. That looks terrifying. Let's hope he doesn't take breakdancing too literally. But let's get some funk in his flailings by placing a gyroscope on each of his arms. The gyroscope tries to keep an object at a fixed angle. You can tweak it to set the speed it turns with and its acceleration. Ah, yes, the old point them in the air like you just don't care manoeuvre. I know it well. To give his dance moves some direction, consider the rocket rotator. It's a clever little doohickey that turns its object towards the direction it's travelling. Don't forget to tweak its speed and acceleration. That'll put some style into his septuagenarian shuffling. And last but not least, the look-at rotator. This marvy little device will turn to point towards you or any other player. You can tweak it to change the speed and the strength with which it turns, and its detection range. You can even set it to follow a tag if you decide that, yes, it turns out pointing is rude, even on the dance floor. Ah, yes, basic rotators. They'll put some spin in your step. By the way, ever wondered what Grandpa Time uses to play his records? A gramophone. Hello? Are you still there? Groovy old Grandfather Time has been practicing his sassy dance moves, but his mature mechanisms need some basic rotators to grease the wheel. Groovy old Grandfather Time has been practicing his sassy... Groovy old Grandfather Time has been practicing his sassy... There will come a time when you need to directly control the moving left and rightness of your infernal devices. And for that, I present for your consideration the Advanced Mover. It's in the Movers section. Place it on that slider. You know the drill. Or crane, in fact. You can control it with that three-way switch, so select your poppet cursor and connect up its output. The Advanced Mover has two inputs, one for left and right, and one for up and down. For now, the left and right input will meet our needs perfectly. Remember to tweak the speed and acceleration. You can have sloth in treacle or hot jaguar in melted butter. Oh, wait, hang on. That's Dodgy Dave's takeaway menu I was reading. You enjoying yourself there, my sack chum? When you need an object to change layer, use an in-out mover from the Movers section. Tweak it to make sure the allow pushing and maximum push weight setting are correct. There's nothing worse than being too pushy. That three-way switch will keep your in-out movements regular. Oh dear, I think Sackboy's stuck in Yobbo mode. It's always humans that get abducted by aliens, never cows. One paranoid conspiracy theory is that cows themselves are behind these alien abductions. Let's get our own back. There are many ways to steal a cow, and one is to use the logic gates in the sensors section of the gadgets page. Firstly, the OR gate. An OR gate will be activated when any one of its inputs, or all of them, is active. If you tweak any of the logic gates, you can set the number of inputs it has. So, connect both switches to an input and connect the OR gate's output to the alien craft's light and its tractor beam. Well, its piston. You can perform the abduction by pulling either of those two-way switches. Sorry, Elderflower, but resistance is utterly useless. The AND gate is only activated when all of its inputs are active. Like before, use the Poppet cursor to connect its inputs and outputs. Try it. Elderflower won't get abducted until you pull both two-way switches. Be gentle, or we're going to have an awful lot of butter to get rid of. But let's press on. It's late and cold. You must be freezing. An XOR gate is activated when any single one, but not more than one, mind you, of its inputs is activated. Careful, don't be over-eager. Fantastic job, but it's not working out so well for Elderflower. Finally, you need to know about the NOT gate. It has one input and one output, and the output is always the opposite of the input. Connect the button to the input and the output to the piston. You'll see she's off straight away. If you jump on that button, the output will swap and you'll save the alienated Elderflower. If you want to save her, that is. I personally don't trust the old cow. But to permanently keep Elderflower's hooves on the ground, attach a battery to the NOT gate. A battery emits a constant on signal. Unlike a real battery powered by bunnies and magic, it never ever runs out. The NOT gate converts it to an off signal, and saddle my horse and call me Rick. Elderflower is safe. But how safe are we? The moose is out there. There isn't enough room on that carrot for more than 1 or 2 devices. Worryingly, it's not the first time I've ever said that. But you want to make a floating, flaming carrot? Let's have a think. You're going to need a microchip to make more space. It's in the simple logic section of your gadgets page. Do chips go with carrots?
If you select your Poppet cursor and press R1 over the microchip, you will hide or display its circuit board.
If you select the circuit board with the Action button, you can resize it with the right stick. Tweak the microchip, and you'll be able to tidy things up even more by disabling the Show Wires option. Anything you place on this microchip will behave as though it was stuck straight to the object at the same position as the microchip. Your microchip is small, but powerful. You can add all manner of gadgetry, logic, even more microchips to its circuit board. Only you could burn a salad, Sackboy. I'm trying to forget about this experience already, but maybe you want to remember. In that case, you'll need a note from your gadgets page. Notes let you leave messages about your gadgets, contraptions and devices for yourself or another creator. Very handy for sharing the knowledge and the love. Tweak the note to write your message. Keep it clean. No Rudy potty-trousered swearies, thank you very much. And press R1 to hide or show it to the world. Oh, it's you. I see you've fixed my alarm clock. I'd rather it was on a timer, though, if you don't mind. Open your Poppet and get a timer from the Advanced Logic section of your Gadgets page. Connect up that button to the input and the output to the wobble bolt. The timer also has a reset button, so it's probably best to connect a button to that as well. You don't want to be that ninny who never turns his alarm off. You can tweak it to set the time it takes to become active. If things get all confused, you can update its current time to something more sensible. The input action sets how the timer behaves. A start-stop timer will count only when it has an input signal. When it's finished, it will produce an on signal. A forwards-backwards timer will count back to 0 when it has no input signal. A start-count-up timer will begin counting as soon as it has an input signal and produce an on signal once it's full. However, a start countdown timer will count back to 0 and produce an on signal until it's done. Well, pull my hair and call me Susan. Look at the time. It's getting late. Oh, my. That rings a bell. Yes, I'm awake, thank you. You can turn that racket off with its reset button. Of course, if you don't connect an input, the timer will just start straight off, so make sure you're in pause mode. You'll also find the counter in the advanced logic section of your tools bag.
That button will increase the count every time it becomes active. Tweak it to set its count. Once it fills up, it will output an on signal.
Now, in a moment, I'm going to
Pretend to go to sleep. Pretend. Right. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, 5 minutes, please, Mother. It's always nice to add an element of unpredictability. Frogmorton! You didn't expect that, did you? You practically knitted yourself. Select a randomizer from the advanced logic section to get the same effect in your game, but perhaps with less unpleasantness. Now use your poppet cursor to hook its output up to all those lights. Let's have what the young set refer to as a discotheque. Very energetic, but don't forget we can tweak it too. Use the on and off times to set the speed the output changes. Changing the pattern to add means that the lights won't go out once they're on. However, changing the pattern to add and reset when full means that once all the lights are on, the whole shebang will start again. The toggle pattern chooses one output and toggles it on or off. It's also wonderfully chaotic. One last thing, if you set input action to override, then you can connect a sensor to the randomizer and toggle when it's on or off yourself. Have a play around and don't worry, you can't break it or anything, but if you do, you'll have to pay for it. This is what the insides of a sackboy's brain look like. Hey, at least you've got two cogs, and you can control both with a direction splitter. It's in the advanced logic section of the gadgets page. It has two outputs, so use your poppet cursor to connect one output to each motor. Now connect the three-way switch to its input. The direction splitter gives you two for the price of one, and considering they're free, is even better value. Oh, come on, don't be glum. Your brain has still got both its cogs. Shall I tell you about the direction combiner to cheer you up? OK, then. The direction combiner is also in the advanced logic section. It takes two inputs and converts them to one output. Connect a button to each of the combiner's inputs. Now connect the output to the motor.
Tweak that motor's input action to forwards-backwards.
Just think of the possibilities, the good you could do. The evil. Actually, not the evil, just the good. The toggle is just like shouting, "And stay on," at something. Whip out your poppet and find a toggle in the advanced logic section of your tools bag. Every time it gets a new input, the output toggles. On flips to off, off flops to on. Ha, you're an old pro at this now. Use your poppet cursor to connect a button to the toggle's input and a light to its output. You see, it's got a memory, and a much more reliable one than mine, too. And another thing, it's got a much more reliable one than mine, too. And... But let's take it one stage further. The selector is a cold, calculating device. You'll find it brooding in the advanced logic section, too. You can tweak the selector to change the number of inputs and outputs it has, from 2 to, I don't know, thousands probably. Let's give it 3. So, connect the 3 switches to the selector's inputs. And connect the outputs to those cakes. A selector helps you manage lots of logic because, now this is important, so pay attention, it will always have one and only one output active at any given time. Just like the toggle, as soon as an input occurs, the output of the selector changes.
However, if there is more than one input active, only the output closest to the end of the selector will be active.
Yes, yes, stop being so smug, it doesn't become you. The selector also has a cycle input. Not a bicycle, you sack-for-brains ninny. Oh, I didn't mean that. Connect that button up to the cycle input. Every time it gets activated, the output moves along to the next one. It all becomes clearer the more you play with it, I promise. All this jumping around doing brain maths is tiring. Like to join me in a cup of tea? It's a very big cup. The toggle is just like shouting, "And stay on," at something. The toggle is just like shouting, "And stay on," at something. Whip out. I was talking to Susan the other day, and I asked her how she likes to be congratulated for being lovely. She said, meow, because she's a cat. But what she meant was that she just loves a stroke, a tickle, and a score-giver object. It's in the World Tweakers section of your poppet. Place it somewhere great and tweak it to set how many points you want it to dish out. You can also tweak who should get the points, the player who activated the score giver, or her and all her little sack chums. You're getting more points than a hedgehog in a jam-eating contest. And what do points mean? That's right, Smarty Sack. Prizes are like Christmas presents. It's always better to give them than receive them. Someone should tell Susan that. Now, open your poppet and head to the Sensors section. We'll use a score sensor to give players rewards when they get a certain score. It's simple, really. Just choose at what score you want the counter to become active. Ooh, ooh, ooh! I hope that emitter is going to make a cake. Joy, thy name is cake. A game ender will teleport every player to the scoreboard, if there is one. But if there isn't, you'll politely be asked if you would like to return to your pod or start again. Tweak the game ender to alter the success setting. Is the player a winner or a loser? By default, we want you to be a winner, because you're lovely, and so are we. If, however, you want the player to lose when this game ender is activated, set success to no, you big meanie.
You're going to have to take my word for it, though, as a game ender only works in play mode.
So, just attach that button and jump on to activate it. Ready? Geronimo! I was talking to Susan the other day, and I asked her how she likes to be This jovial fellow is Crash Test Teddy. You may have met already. He's going to help us out today. Firstly, open up your poppet to the Object Tweakers section of your Gadgets page. Choose a Danger Tweaker. Don't worry, Ted. It's just a name. Best attach a button to be on the safe side. The Danger Tweaker will turn whatever it's attached to into fire, plasma, or electrified material. You can tweak it to choose how it affects Crash Test Teddy. Don't worry, this is all in the name of comic mischief. Ted's not actually being hurt. He's a trained stunt Teddy. Well, he's got his cycling proficiency certificate at least. While the Danger Tweaker is active, it affects the object it's attached to, just like the Danger Tools, so be careful what you touch. You're safe behind that metal wall for now, so get a destroyer from the Object Tweaker section. Tweaking a destroyer allows you to choose the destruction effect. If you want to destroy all the objects it's attached to, select Include Rigid Connections. Just place that destroyer on Crash Test Teddy. There, Ted, there's nothing to worry about. I'm perfectly safe. Finally, connect that button to the destroyer. Hold still, Ted. I'd like to thank Crash Test Teddy for his invaluable contribution to today's lesson. This jovial fellow is Crash Test Teddy. You may have met already. He's going to help us out today. Crash Test Teddy has kindly taken a leave of absence from the infirmary to help us out here. So, open up your poppet and head to the Object Tweakers section of the Gadgets page. The Material Tweaker lets you change the physical behaviour of your objects. You'll notice that Ted here is made of sponge, not a particularly bouncy material. But tweaking the Material Tweaker lets you change the bounciness and the friction of any object. Ted, we're not finished. Even better than that, you can tweak the Material Tweaker to make any object sticky, like Ted, of course. There are 3 options for stickiness. Normal won't do anything, while sticky makes the object more adhesive than a boiled sweet stuck to your desk. It'll fix itself to almost anything it touches. Setting the option to nothing sticks makes it harder to stick to than a kipper in a leotard. Not even another sticky object can do it. To lighten the mood, we want to make known to you the services of the Anti-Gravity Tweaker, once more from the Object Tweakers section. Use your poppet cursor to tweak it and set the level of how gravitationally challenged you want Teddy to become. The dampening sets how quickly things slow down when they get moved. Instead of air, imagine Ted moving through pea soup. Thank you, Crash Test Teddy, for helping us out. Can we offer you a lift anywhere? Oh, I see. He's got one. Crash Test Teddy has kindly taken a leave of absence from the infirmary to help us out here. So, open up your poppet and head to the Crash Test Teddy has kindly taken a leave of absence from the infirmary to help us out.